Hey dudes and dudettes, Trainer Hotto here, and let's go ahead and talk about Kingdom Hearts Re+Mind. Oh yeah, and spoilers for Kingdom Hearts Re+Mind or whatever, you've been warned. So let's go ahead and talk about probably what is the most controversial subject about this entire DLC pack, and that is the $30 US price tag on the DLC itself. Because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, when I first started up the DLC and I started playing it, I really had those thoughts of, wait, am I really paying $30 for this type of experience? And then I finished the DLC and I was like, holy shit, totally worth the money. However, I do want to just point out that this does bring into question what Nomura and Square Enix have been selling us for years with the final mixes. If this is about the same type of quality and content that we've been getting for another $60 release compared to just a $30 DLC bundle like we have here. Though I have been going kind of back and forth on this for a while now in terms of, for the casual fan of Kingdom Hearts, if this $30 price tag is actually going to be worth it for them. And what I've kind of decided on is that unless you are a die-hard Kingdom Hearts fan and you have been studying these games like they are the holy Bible itself, I don't think you're going to be getting your $30 worth of content in this DLC pack alone. Maybe if it was like $5 or $10 cheaper, it would be much better, but just in its current state at that $30 price tag, I don't think casual fans will enjoy it as much, but I definitely think that the diehard fans will enjoy it and definitely think it's worth that $30 price tag. And of course, let us not forget that the Re+Mind portion is not the only part of the DLC. There's also the Limit Cut episode and the Secret episode, as well as the data greeting and premium menu, which the data greeting as of itself is just pure unfiltered meme fuel, and I feel as though Square Enix has given us too much power in this because I have seen things I cannot unseen, guys. I have seen them. And of course, with the premium menu, it basically allows you to either one-shot enemies or even go ahead and let things one-shot you. It's really just up to you, and it's going to be a lot of fun for people who want that extra difficulty spike in Kingdom Hearts, all you Dark Souls fanatics that just love to have your balls stepped on or whatever the fuck you guys are into, and of course allows the speedrunners to go even further and allowing themselves to just beat Kingdom Hearts 3 in under 20 minutes or whatever they like trying to do. Communities are weird. Oh, hey, let's talk about that story content stuff. Holy shit, there's a lot to unpack here. Let's go ahead and we'll start with Xigbar and Luxord, yeah? Alright, so Xigbar and Luxord have their little back and forth, and it really kind of seems to imply that without a doubt, Luxord is following orders from somebody who is not Xehanort, which makes me question if there's going to be this rivalry between Xigbar and Luxord in which they're just, what's the word I'm thinking of? They're at each other as if the Master of Masters and whoever Luxord is following have been at each other for a very long time. But it's really hard to say for sure because everything is very cryptic that Luxord is saying, and it doesn't give us a lot of straight answers. There is also that theory that Luxord is the limo driver, the butler to Yozora, but all we really have is the fact that they have the same voice actor and that Luxord is also following someone else's orders, so I don't know how reliable that is per se, but I don't know. There's just so much going on in that 4-minute cutscene, and I just don't know how to interpret all of it quite yet. I think it's really interesting, and I want to like further deep dive into that, but oh my god. So moving on to the conversation between young Master Xehanort and the Master of Masters, we get that confirmation that, of course, the Master of Masters was the one to kind of push Xehanort to this idea that there needs to be an equal balance of light and darkness in order for the worlds to be in harmony, and then there can't be too much light or too much darkness or else everything falls to shit. And I think that's a very interesting plot point because we've all had that speculation, and it's been something on the community's mind since the early days of the Kingdom Hearts trailers, and now that we finally have that confirmation, it's good to see that. But it really also just kind of points out that all of this is still going according to plan for the Master of Masters, or Mom, as a lot of people like to call it, just to keep things simple. Mom is clearly just biding his time, waiting for everything to get into place. And with the next phase of the Kingdom Hearts series, I'll call it the Foreteller Saga, it's very clear he's just about at that point to where he's ready to make his move. And whether that be against Yozora or Sora or Luxord or what the situation is, it's getting damn near time. And I'm really excited to kind of see how this is going to go. Real quick, we'll go over the Dark Aqua and Dark Inferno X encounters, just because they're somewhat interesting, but they don't really add too much. The Dark Aqua encounter was interesting because we got to see why Aqua suddenly just lost her shit and decided, actually, nah, I'm not gonna fight. And it made sense that they added that because it was a very big head scratcher while we were in the finale of Kingdom Hearts 3. And then when we move on to the Dark Inferno X fight, however, that one is much more complicated because Vanitas calls himself Darkness. The Dark Inferno considers himself Darkness, and just, oh my god, there is a lot of questions there. And so there is actually a video by TheGamersJoint, who I will put down in the description below, that kind of goes more into depth on this, and basically saying that Vanitas is much older than Ven, despite the fact that Ven fought in the Second Keyblade War. And so it's going to be a very interesting course of events to kind of see what happens there, but just know that that Dark Inferno X fight may be much more important later on down the line, but just for the moment, the Dark Aqua fight and the Dark Inferno fights are kind of just meh in the DLC, in all opinion, in my humble opinion. Riku, Aqua, Roxas, they're all fun to fight with. I enjoyed that. That was really cool. Yeah, that was cool. I'm kind of disappointed Riku didn't get a cooler shock lock. That was just like Aqua's shock lock, but not for Aqua. Roxas didn't even get a shock lock. I guess he didn't learn that power. And yeah, that was a majority of things that happened in that section. However, I am hoping that these special moves that Mickey and Riku do with you, which are True End and I forgot what the one with Mickey is, but I'm hoping those are just free additions, because I'm not sure if those were part of the DLC itself or if those are just free updates that came along with the ability and the 1.0 update that happened simultaneously with the DLC. I thought it was really weird that they retconned the key symbol that Xemnas gave them, and it made it the foundation of their friendship, but I don't know, that's not my problem. Holy fucking shit, what isn't there to love about Kyrie in this DLC? She goes after Xemnas, someone she knows is beyond fucking powerful, and just tries to fucking hit him in the face with a key. There was no time for Sora to be like, oh, hey, Kyrie, this is the plan. We're gonna do this, this, and that. No, she's just like, I'm gonna hit you in the face with a key. Yeah. And it was beautiful. And then her fight against Xehanort, that was beautiful. She got this attack that lets her, like, warp strike to her opponent, and it just fucking decimates. And her shock lock is also fucking dope. She learned how to do a shock lock. What's your excuse, Roxas? I don't understand it, man. And then fucking her one heart attack with Sora, shit is beyond adorable. They grow wings, and they're like, ah! And then they fly and attack Xehanort, and all of the feathers are made up of memories together between them, and after each one, they're just really cute, and I love it, and the meteors suck ass. Kyrie is still as fucking powerful as a wet paper bag, but I did it, and I cried, because that was such a pretty fucking ending. And that entire fight was just beautiful, and I loved it. And let's not even forget the ending, where, like, it's revealed that Sora and Kyrie were together the entire time, watching everything go down from fucking the Disney castle to the clock tower to everything, man. And I loved it, and I am so beyond happy that it ended this way. Literally, this is probably my favorite part of the DLC, and it's not even funny. But there are two more parts that are almost just as badass, but I still love them. Mickey fighting off 13 Seekers of Darkness is one of the most badass things I've ever seen in my life. Later on, when my daughter is playing Kingdom Hearts and she sees that scene in Kingdom Hearts 2 where Mickey is being a fucking edgelord and just being like, they'll pay for this, I will point to this scene and just be like, this is why he gets to do that. You don't know about that yet, but this is why he gets to do that. It's justified. Because holy shit, I have never been so emotionally invested in a fucking mouse before. First, it was Goofy, then they did that shit with Donald and the Zeta Flare. Now they're doing it with Mickey. I have never been so emotionally attached to animals in my life, guys, and this is just utterly fucking amazing. And let us not forget the creme de la creme of this freaking fight scenario when all 7 Guardians are fighting the 13 Seekers of Darkness. It is incredibly badass, not only because you have everyone fighting alongside of each other and facing off against all of these Xehanort clones, but because we also have just some of the best lines in all of the Kingdom Hearts series. Riku and Terra talking about how, oh, you're finally able to protect the people and things you care about. Yeah, thanks to you. And Aqua and Axel going at each other like, yeah, we're not bad for a team that just barely started, and Aqua just being like, hey, listen, shut up or else we're gonna die. And he's like, you didn't have to put it that way. And oh my god, there's just so many things in this fight scene alone that I love. And I could go into hours dissecting all of it and why it's one of the best scenes in Kingdom Hearts history. And it's so much fun, guys. It is so much fun. If legitimately, I think this scene alone is one of the major reasons why I say the Re+Mind DLC is worth the $30 for me, because you have all of these scenes where you just get to enjoy things, and I love it so much. Moving on to the expansion of Scala at Kylam, I thought it was really nice that they allowed us to just explore that first little area, because normally when we're in that first little area, we're getting gangbanged by the Xehanort vessels, and that's not really a good time, and you can't really take in details when you're trying not to get killed. But, you know, that sort of stuff happens when you're in a Kingdom Hearts game. Then, that whole second expansion where it kind of just opens up even more and you get to see more of the town, or more of the world, I guess. It's a little bit of a bummer you can't go see more of the islands and possibly even that classroom that young Master Ericus and Zayn were in. But I'm hoping with Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, which is supposedly coming out later this year for mobile, we'll be able to explore a little bit more of that. And granted, I don't know if I doubt it will be at the same graphical quality that it is currently sitting at in terms of everything else, or in terms of the console games, but I still think it has a high possibility of looking really good even on a mobile game, because there's stuff like Raid Shadow Legends, which, you know, has been over-sponsored to death by every YouTube channel, but they make good-looking games, and if Square can do something similar to that with Dark Road, I think that would be a really good thing for the series, and it would just make me happy, because Scala at Kylam is one of the best looking worlds in Kingdom Hearts history, and you cannot change my mind on that. You just can't. I'm just really interested to see how Scala is going to get improved on, because he added a lot of Easter eggs into this area. There was the unverse symbol in a lot of the areas, or a lot of the signage on the posters and stuff like that in Scala. There is the Daybreak Town Easter egg and all that other kind of stuff. There's just so much going on in this area that there has to be more to it. And so I feel like Dark Road is going to expand on that. And I'm just hoping it also looks as good as it does, or relatively as good. Because again, I recognize that console games are going to have a graphic thing over mobile games any day of the week. But my point still stands. I want Scala in the next Kingdom Hearts game. I'll take it in Dark Road if it looks half as good as it does right now. Moving on to the Limit Cut episode, we'll go ahead and just say that the Limit Cut bosses are hard. Not a big shocker. Everyone was kind of expecting that. I don't know if there was anyone who really thought that these bosses were going to be a cakewalk for anybody. So, yeah, good job. They're hard. We'll talk about Yozora in a minute, but first we're going to talk about something that's probably going to piss a lot of people off, the Final Fantasy characters. So, the Final Fantasy characters have returned for the limit cutscene, and they make up probably about like 5 minutes worth of cutscenes, and it's cool to have them back. I'm glad to see Yuffie. I love her so much. She's like my third best Kingdom Hearts waifu, if we're counting everyone in Kingdom Hearts to be eligible for a waifu ranking. But my problem is that Nomura did this out of the goodness of his heart because he recognized the fact that a lot of people wanted Final Fantasy characters back. And he acknowledged the fact that, like, yeah, that would have been cool, but, like, for the main base game, we don't have a lot of stuff to really work with, and so it's better just to leave out the Final Fantasy characters and then move on from there. But in the DLC, they add them for where they could have. And honestly, they didn't need to. They could have just had Yenzo doing his own thing, and it wouldn't have made a difference, in my opinion. And to have the community be so upset that, hey, we're doing this out of the goodness of our hearts to give you something you wanted, and then for the fandom just to be like, this isn't what I wanted, how I wanted it, therefore you guys are terrible developers, that makes me upset, because I really don't think they deserve that in any way, shape, or form. But maybe that's just me being a fanboy. I'm glad they're back. I think it was cool. Do I think it was necessary? Not at all. Could we have gone without it? 100%. But to say that Final Fantasy characters are these much needed aspects of the Kingdom Hearts franchise is just a complete lie. The only reason they were there to begin with was because because Nomura didn't think that the franchise would do well by itself, and therefore they needed to add some characters in there to help it sell. Now that the franchise is, as of its own volition, sellable and can stand on its own 2 feet, Final Fantasy characters aren't really needed. But, that's just, what Nomura has said. What do I know, right? And then moving on to Yozora. Yozora is a very interesting case scenario, because this is the first time in a Kingdom Hearts game where we've had 2 multiple endings, and they're very different from each other. And the interaction between Yozora and Sora before the fight actually begins is interesting, because Yozora talks about saving Sora. And I have a lot of theories on what's going on here, and without getting too deep into them, and without really formulating them too well, if I had to guess, Yozora is using the same technique Xehanort used on Kyrie, because we see Sora crystallize just like Kyrie did, just at a much slower rate. And I think Yozora is kind of pulling one of those moves where he's like, okay, I'm going to save you by making sure you can never get hurt again and trapping your heart somewhere. That way he's 100% safe and that there's nothing to do for him to get hurt. And then in the other one, in the alternate ending, the good ending, we see Yozora fade away saying, I guess my power isn't needed yet. And so that's an interesting quote, considering that we don't know what his purpose is quite yet, but to say that he isn't needed yet, as if he's somehow aware of this grander plan, and maybe if he's connected with Luxord in that way, it would make sense, but there's just a lot going on. But I'm really interested to see more of Yozora in the next Kingdom Hearts game, because within some interviews with Nomura, he hinted that the title screen for the Re+Mind DLC is a hint towards what's to come. And if you guys have not seen it yet, it is Kyrie and Sora. And with the secret episode, it kind of makes me think that we're going to be having a Birth by Sleep style game where we're playing as Sora, Riku, and Kyrie, and they're all going through these dream realms and facing Dream Eaters or something of the like, and doing things that way. And I think that would be actually a really interesting thing to go into for the future of the series, to kind of learn more about it. But we'll see what happens, I suppose. But I'm really interested to see kind of how things are going. Yozora seems like a really cool character. I don't hear Dylan Sprouse in his voice whatsoever, but cool, good for you, Dylan. Uh, but overall, I'm really happy with this DLC, if you guys can't tell with me rambling on about it for about 20 minutes now. It is honestly one of the best experiences I've had with Kingdom Hearts. Not counting Kingdom Hearts 3, because I think just that wave of nostalgia just destroyed me on an emotional level. Alright guys, and with that I think I've rambled enough for the day, so go ahead, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. If you think I'm a swell guy, go ahead and subscribe. We'll be pumping out more Kingdom Hearts content here shortly, and then of course if you enjoy Pokemon as well, stick around because I have a problem with Japanese media and I cannot get away from it by any definition of the word. And of course, this Team Skull video will be coming out shortly as well. I'm going to be working on that as soon as this video is done. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have an awesome day. Keep rocking and rolling, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.